This is yours truly, John Cena. Smash the like button if you would watch a biopic TV series about Chris Benoit.
Right now, I feel like the two best shows on TV right now as we speak is The Penguin and the American Sports Story about Aaron Hernandez. And here's why. Everything that I'm seeing on that show is very accurate about Aaron Hernandez, but I wish they could chill out on all the homosexual activities on that show. I'm like, damn, bro. It feels like Aaron Hernandez was a flaming homosexual in the closet. I'm like, dude, too many gay scenes, but I get it. Now, that is a great TV show that you need to watch. Watch American Sports Story about Aaron Hernandez on FX. Great show. But it made me think, why not have a show about Chris Benoit? Why not give Chris Benoit his own TV series, just like the American Sports Story, Aaron Hernandez? Why not? I think FX should give Chris Benoit his own TV show on American Sports Stories. I feel like that will be a great show because, listen, he does have a very, very strong fan base, and I say, why not have his own movie? Why not have his own TV show? I feel like that will be a very successful TV show based on Chris Benoit. He has a strong fan base still. I don't know why, but a lot of fans of fake pro wrestling, they want to know what led to Chris Benoit snapping. I want to see FX. I want to see their take on it. I want to see who would play Chris Benoit. What would the show be about? Now, why not have Max play Chris Benoit? Because we need a short, swole, jacked up dude to play Chris Benoit. I say, why not Max? I think this show would be better than Young Rock. And here's why. The fact that this guy, he killed his whole family, people want to see what led to that. What made him kill his whole family? I think that will be a very successful TV show. Even though I hate Chris Benoit. See, here's why I hate Chris Benoit. Because I am very objective. Because, man, when I was a kid, I was a huge fan of Chris Benoit. I'm telling you, when I was in school, when I was like 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, my friends were huge fans of Chris Benoit. And yes, I was a huge fan of this guy. So yes, I'm pissed off that Chris Benoit did that to his goddamn family. Now, I want to see a TV series about what led up to that incident. I want to see how did he meet Nancy. I want to see his beef with Kevin Sullivan. I want to see his friendship with Eddie G. I want to see his friendship with Perry Saturn. Stuff like that. I want to see, was he bullied in WCW? I want to see his rise in New Japan Pro Fake Wrestling. I want to see the rise of Chris Benoit. I say, why not? If you gave O.J. Simpson his own movie, his own TV show, okay, why not Chris Benoit? Because listen, Aaron Hernandez, he killed 4 people, bruh. So why not give Chris Benoit his own TV show? I feel like he's also in that category. He is also in the Aaron Hernandez category. Why? Because he has CTE, just like Chris Benoit. They both had CTE, but don't get it twisted. That still is no excuse for taking out your family. That is no excuse for being a goddamn murderer. At the end of the motherfucking day, Chris Benoit is a child killer. What part of that don't you understand? Right? I don't get you fans of Chris Benoit. He killed his son, right? Which makes him a child killer. Like, bro, if he was alive, he would be on death row. I see no difference between Chris Benoit and Aaron Hernandez. They are both murderers, and they were both great athletes. So yes, I think Chris Benoit, he qualifies to be on that show. I think their next show should be about Chris Benoit. I feel like we should have a campaign on FX. The next American Sports Story should be about Chris Benoit. So I have 2 guys in mind that should play Chris Benoit. That is Chad Gable and MJF. Or they could hire a big jacked up dude who was like 5'8", 5'9" to play Chris Benoit. But I say, why not hire a fake pro wrestler to play Chris Benoit? I think this will be a great series because I think FX will add tons of drama. They will dramatize it up the ass. We all know that. I want to see what will their whole spin be with him versus Elijah Burke, because I think that was his last match. Before his match with Elijah Burke, What was Chris Benoit going through? We don't know. That's why he deserves a TV show. And there's a rumor that when Chris Benoit got demoted to ECW, that's when Chris Benoit got depressed. Now, I want to see that. If they give Chris Benoit his own TV show, I want to see what was Chris Benoit going through in ECW. Because I heard that when he got demoted, he felt like he was on his way out. He felt like they were trying to push him out. He felt like Vince McMahon was trying to turn Chris Benoit into an old timer. That's what led to Chris Benoit becoming very depressed because he thought he was being pushed out. The fact that he goes from being a world champion on the main roster to going to ECW, how did Chris Benoit feel when he got demoted and he was forced to put over upcoming talent? How did Chris Benoit feel about that? I want them to add that to FX. And I could have sworn Chris Benoit was trained in the Hart Dungeon. I could have sworn. So I want to see Bret Hart. I want to see Owen Hart. I want to see Stu Hart. I want to see Chris Benoit's rise on the Indies. What did Paul Heyman see in Chris Benoit? Because Chris Benoit, he also wrestled in the old school ECW. So what did Paul Heyman see in Chris Benoit? Because he said that he was going to make Chris Benoit a world champion in ECW. So I want to see his rise in ECW as well. I think this will be a great show because most likely we are going to see Chavo, we are going to see Chris Jericho, Dean Malenko. This show will give us closure. This show will give us clues on what did Chris Benoit go through mentally. Was he on steroids? Was he on drugs? Was he an alcoholic? We don't know about Chris Benoit. For example, was Nancy the only woman in his life? We don't know. That's my point. Was Chris Benoit cheating with other women? You know what I'm saying? Will they add that to the show? Because, bro, he was a fake pro wrestler and he was on the road every week. There's no way in hell that Nancy was his only female that he was smashing. Now, there's also this rumor about Chris Benoit. People feel like the moment that Eddie G died, that Chris Benoit really took it hard. People felt like that's what led to his death. The fact that his best friend died, that's what made Chris Benoit very depressed. They felt like he was alone. Here's why I want Max to play Chris Benoit. Because Max is an asshole. Meaning, I think that he would troll the audience. He would troll the fans of All Elite Wrestling in terms of if he had a match, he would purposely do Chris Benoit's moves just to gain heat. I want to see that. I think Max will go too far and try to be like Chris Benoit during his matches. Let's say Max had a match with Adam Cole Slaw and he does the diving headbutt off the top rope or he does the crippler crossface just to gain heat. I want to see that. I think Max would do something like that. We all know Kevin Sullivan has to be in this TV show. We all know CM Junk also has to be on this show because CM Junk also met Chris Benoit in ECW. So you have to cast a CM Junk actor. I'm not saying that this TV show will change fans' minds about how they view Chris Benoit. It's just, I feel like this show will give us closure on what led up to Chris Benoit becoming a damn murderer. Because you can make the argument that what if Chris Benoit never got drafted to ECW? Let's say Chris Benoit was getting a huge monster push from Vince McMahon and it never ended. Would Chris Benoit still be alive? Because like I said, Chris Benoit was very depressed when he got drafted to ECW. He thought he was on his way out of the company. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think Chris Benoit would still be alive today if he was never drafted to ECW. It's crazy that people don't bring that up. That him being demoted, man, that fucked him up mentally. He thought it was over. He thought Vince McMahon stopped pushing him. Because if you are being pushed as a main eventer in the World Wrestling Federation every week, then you have no reason to be depressed. Because you are on top. You are not going backwards. You are going forward. That means Chris Benoit will have no reason to be depressed. That's what I think. I think him being demoted, that fucked him up, man. So why is this show so needed? Because a lot of you dumbasses, a lot of you fucking marks, y'all think that Kevin Sullivan killed Chris Benoit and his family. That's why this show is needed to clarify the fact that Kevin Sullivan didn't do shit. In fact, guess what? Before Chris Benoit left for the World Wrestling Federation, Kevin Sullivan He promised him that he was not going to bury him on his way out. In fact, Kevin Sullivan did not want Chris Benoit to leave for the World Wrestling Federation. But Chris Benoit did not trust Kevin Sullivan. He thought that Kevin Sullivan was going to bury him on his way out. It's crazy how Kevin Sullivan, he still gave Chris Benoit the world title. And yet, Chris Benoit, he still left because he did not trust Kevin Sullivan. He thought Kevin Sullivan was still butthurt over Nancy. And I'm like, bruh, he is a professional who still gave you the world title. But this ungrateful jackass, Chris Benoit, he still left WCW because he did not trust Kevin Sullivan. And yes, this has been confirmed. That's why he left. He did not trust Kevin Sullivan as his booker because of the whole Nancy shit. Here's the wild part. Kevin Sullivan did not want Chris Benoit to leave for the World Wrestling Federation. He was a professional. He still liked Chris Benoit, but this jackass still left. So, like I said, man, Kevin Sullivan was not the bad guy. It was always Chris Benoit. And I'm done.